And the purpose of today is to work with you. I know I'm walking into a group of skilled practitioners, and it's simply a matter of us looking to refresh and update and having a look at student learning. That's been the focus. Now, we're going to spend some time this morning reviewing the last 2 sessions on analysis and design. We're going to workshop a prototype learning lesson plan. We'll look at some ways of providing feedback that are productive, they enhance learning, and they're given respectfully. Karen loves the term check-in, and one of the techniques we've been using for the last 3 days to get everyone to check in, because it's a while since you've seen each other, is to get you to share some information about what's been good for you, what a high is since the last time you met, and what a low is since the last time you met. And it's a good technique for getting students and people who don't know each other very well to start talking with each other. Has anyone heard of Kahoot?
Yeah, we use Kahoot with the kids. It's the best thing.
Excellent. We're going to run through a Kahoot session. Karen and I were thinking about a way to novelly revise some of the concepts that you covered in the first 2 sessions. And we thought we'd set up a Kahoot. What we've found out in the 3 times we've run it already is ours is too fast, and that is something we had to learn. Some of our questions are too wordy, and it doesn't give students enough time, so in the end we've had to read them out to go through them. And there was a bit of stress involved in setting up just on their phone, so we thought we'd take you through the process. Alright, so as the teacher, you log into a website called Kahoot.com, and that's the website where you will set up your free account, and then we design our quiz. Now you've got a choice of having 2 responses, 4 responses. There's some variation with that. There is a limit to how long a response can be. There's a letter count on them. One of the really nice things here is there's a library of puzzles that people have volunteered to leave up on site. So for example, you could put in that search bar nursing, and you may get puzzles that people have created for nursing students. So it's also accessing featured, most popular, trending near you, and top Kahooters. That's a great term. Available there, so it's a library of information as well. Now this technique is great for using for review. It's also great to get students to write them, so you could use it as an assessment as well for those students who are able to do that. Now the students log in to a different site. It's called Kahoot It. And what you'll find is, can you see up in the top hand corner it says My Kahoots? So they're the puzzles that I've already created. I've only done 1 for this lesson. You'll see it based on the ADDIE review. So this is why your students are logging on. You set up the teacher's computer. Press play. And we're going to a classic game. Now you'll notice as it's connecting, it's going to come up with a PIN number. That's the number you put in on your screen. It will ask you to come up with a nickname, and this is one of the benefits for our students. You can actually be anonymous. So you can do this and no one has to know who you are. Now, as people are logging on and putting their nicknames there, they're coming up on the board. Once I press that start button, we're going to start. It'll start putting up questions and going through the responses. This defaults to 20 seconds per question, which is damn quick, especially if you've got students with LLN issues. So this is where we sat there and went, well, that was a stupid idea. When I'd be setting up the quiz next time, I'd be setting it for 40 seconds at least, just to give people time. You need to have a practice doing this as a class, because as you can see, a little bit of a learning curve in getting to use it. I'll read through the questions. You'll see the colours correspond to the choices. that you have on the screen. You don't need to read the questions on your screen. It's just where you press to choose which answer you want to put in. All right, so it gives you a scoreboard after each question. The scoreboard is based on your accuracy and your speed. So this generates a bit of competition. We had a staff member on the second day who was up screaming in his seat going, yes. So a lot of the guys like the competition aspect. All right, ready? Experience, including mistakes, provides the basis for stress, the basis for headaches, the basis for engagement, the basis for learning activities. Yep. Select the colour you think is correct. You know now that you have the power to set it up in your logon. It's free. You can use it as an assessment with students. For example, if you told them to set up 5 questions on a particular subject area with 2 responses, it's very manageable for a student to get that organised and then have to stand up and deliver it to the rest of the class. So you've also, if for anyone who does VCAL, that's an oracy straight away. It's a literacy outcome straight away. So it can be adapted and used in a lot of different ways. And again, this is what we're doing today. We're showing you a range of strategies to put in your lesson plan. This is just a quick summary of what you covered in and analyse the first section of the sessions that you did. So with Karen, you talked about who's in the class, how to explore your students and your cohort. You had a look at how long the training is, what you were going to teach, and what you wanted the students to learn. This is the slide for design. So in the design session, you looked at the relevance of the material that you were delivering and how relevant it was to your students, making it relevant for them, the growth of your students, the culture that you're working in, and self-efficacy. So the importance of working together as well. Today, and this the top of the slide says development, today we're going to be bringing it all together under development. We're going to pull all that information together. We're going to keep working through a range of different strategies to the point that you can produce a lesson plan with practical strategies for your particular class. So whether you're teaching VCAL diploma level, it'll be adapted for your particular class. John Hattie, and Karen would have discussed a lot with you about John Hattie's work. John Hattie talks about the expectations that teachers walk into their classrooms with and how it affects the outcomes of their student learning. Can anyone remember that effect? Anything over 0.4 in John Hattie's scales was shown to produce learning that was a year in advance of peers. By teachers having a high expectation, their learning, they advance their students' learning 1.624 times the normal peers level. So having those high expectations can be a life changer for a lot of students. So 1.62 was the figure that we got from John Hattie, and this is called the Pygmalion effect. And what it is it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy within the class. If you expect the most from your students, not working to please you, that's certainly not what we're talking about. We're talking about them fulfilling the expectations that they will do very well, have those high expectations for them. All these notes we're going through and the lesson plan we'll develop is designed to develop sort of a muscle memory for you, so that, not saying that we would ever do anything off the fly and, come up with a lesson really quickly, but at least if you've got that muscle memory, you can go through this checklist. Am I expecting high expectations for my students? Have I set the lesson up properly? And it gives you some quick key words that are going to be built into how you plan for student learning. So you see how we're pulling out things that we want you to consider as you're putting those lesson plans together. John Haney also, and again I apologise for the loss of the top of the slide, he's also discussed teachers' mind frames and what they bring to class. Because the teacher is the one that's setting these expectations. The teacher is the one that's setting the environment that our students are learning in. And he's shown that teacher mind frames also affect student learning by doubling the improvement in student learning and improving your mind frames.